This video is not going to be about the how-to of a seat or how we do it. It's going to be answering some of the questions that we've been getting online on our website or through our social medias and everything. And there's things I want to address that I think are important. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why we do the procedures we do it and the way I do it. Also tell you a little business insight on what we've been going through and dealing with, so you know why we do what we do. One of the things we get a lot, and even though the people who watch our videos over and over again know that I always say, this is the way I do it. It's not the right do what I say, not what I do. And it's because we had to pick up a lot of tips and tricks over the years to be more productive. There's a lot of things in the upholstery, in the auto body, and everything you do that has a lot of procedures. And if you can't go around them sometimes to make things faster for you, it's hard to be productive in this industry. And there's a lot of people, couch surfers, who will complain and say this, and that, or they work for a shop and take their time and go really slow, or live in an area of the country that isn't as expensive as it is here to live. With us, labor rates in New England are like $125 to $225 on average per hour for labor rate. So when you start doing extra procedures that add 3-4 hours to it, you're talking $600-800. It adds up so fast with custom work that it kind of puts you out of the market. So I've learned ways that make me, which isn't the way necessarily you have to do it, but the way that makes me do things quicker to come out with the same end result. And I try to explain that in our videos, but we get a lot of people who might watch one video and they just will complain about something they see and they don't listen to what we're actually saying, and saying that the reason that we do what we do is for specific reasons. When you watch our videos, this is the way I do it. You don't have to do it this way. There's a million ways to skin a cat. You watch a cooking show, you could watch someone scramble eggs in 30 different ways in 2 seconds. Everybody has a different opinion on how they do things. And you know what? Sometimes they taste good, sometimes they taste like shit. One guy might like them, one guy might not like them. So with me, this is the way I do it. So the people that watch our channel, I appreciate you. I would say 99.999% of the people are great, positive, and we love that. But the other ones aren't so positive, and I don't really have time for them. We're here to do what we do, show you what we do, and hopefully enjoy it and build cool stuff in America. Which brings me to my next gripe that we get a lot of, and it's pricing. So on one side of it, people will say, oh, a custom seat guy, that's too much money for a seat, blah, 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 right? Production seats are very low right now. It's a competitive market. The big shops have made things into a mass production, and I feel bad for them because I look at like some of the top tier people, the Mustang seats, the Corbin seats, those guys who've been around, they created this industry, and like literally they created this industry. I mean, I think when you look at the history with Mike Corbin and then Al Simmons, I mean, they were together right from the beginning. Mike started the Corbin Gentry seats and then left and started Corbin seats, and then Al went off and started Mustang seats. And two of the biggest names in the business, and I don't think there was anybody before them. I think, because I remember the stories about how they went to sell stuff to Harley dealers, and they're making wood seats and nobody even knew about a custom seat. So they are the pioneers and the innovators in our industry, and I feel that those guys deserve their kudos when you're purchasing products. And what sucks with them as well as us is they are getting beat up by China as well. These Chinese companies are knocking off our products and coming in at very low rates and very cheap rates. And again, you get what you pay for. If you look at the quality of a Mustang seat or a Corbin seat and then compare it to like one of the CC Rider seats and those things, it's really no comparison. It's you could tell it's like you go to their factories, they're made here. And they're made, they're physically made. They're totally different seats. Like, I can't say one's better than worse than the other. I could just say that they're totally different seats, totally different productivity, their production, everything's totally different. But they've put the time in this industry. They created this industry, and I think they are, should be, I don't even know how you would say it. I think they put their dues into this business, and people should purchase from places like that. When I look at like the CC Riders, I don't know the company, and I feel weird saying it because I don't want to say anything bad about them. But I will say that we've redone a lot of their seats. Brand new seats we've redone. I will say that if you compare the quality of the materials, and again, you get what you pay for, but if you compare the quality of the materials of a Mustang seat or a Corbin seat or one of the custom seats you get here, there is no comparison. Price-wise, they're just whoring out the market, and that's what kills us the most. So many people I see coming in here, and they're literally like, they just bought the seat. They're all happy. We had one 2 weeks ago, which I didn't really care because I don't like people who don't want. If people don't appreciate the value of what you do, then don't come here. We're building you hand-fabricated, handmade American stuff, better quality. We have the knowledge, the experience. That's why you come to us. And so like one guy came and he's like, pulled the seat out, and he's bullshitting me, saying how he wants to have me do a different seat or whatever. I'm like, don't bullshit me. And he's talking to Rick out in the thing before I got here, saying how he found like some cheap CC Rider seat online for $150 or whatever, and he's just going to go with that. I hate people like that because you're purchasing products based off of your pocketbook, what you could afford or what you want, what you think it's worth. And I get that everything's expensive in America. Everything is expensive. It's just crazy. Labor rates, products, materials, everything is expensive. But this is supposed to be your pride and joy. You used to buy a bike and keep it and customize it and love it and just want it better and better than the next guy. Somehow between cars and motorcycles, with the new vehicle stuff, it just became this, got to get a new one so you have a new one. So you say you have a new one. You know how many times I've seen people buy a Harley that they loved and then wait 2 years and buy another one that sucked and then either have to go back or buy another one. Then you get in this rat race of buying junk. And it's the same thing with the seats. If this is your pride and joy, think about what you're going to do. Think about where you're going to go. Look at all of us. If you want a custom seat, look at all the custom seat shops, right? Listen to them and say, this one has the style I like. This one listens to what I say. This one does this. Everybody has something unique that you want to do. If you want to go to like one of the seat manufacturers and grab one of their seats, you got Mustang, LaPera, Corbin, Saddleman, and those are the really ones that only matter to me. The rest of them are just in and out and up and down. And, if you're looking at a manufacturer, those are the guys. I couldn't even think of anybody else that really put the time in that they did into this industry. And Saddleman, I think, is a lot newer. I don't really know their history. So what ends up bothering me a lot too is, guys are buying, they're going around, buy American made, all the stuff, and then they're buying this cheap stuff. And it just whores out our market. It puts these low prices in that now, it goes in, like someone comes to us and they're like, oh, well, I could get this for $150. And then every time you got to go through and say, you know what? Just go get it, $150. It's junk, it's garbage. The amount that you're going to have to change on these seats, the foam that comes through, everyone's different and not consistent. It's just ridiculous. That's kind of where we are with what we do. One thing I wanted to, because it hit us hard. The last couple of years were really tough. We went through COVID, which was horrible. And people don't understand what it's like to go through on the business side when you can't get employees and you can't get materials, but everybody wants it. Everybody's home. They want to ride their bikes. They want their cars. They want their trucks. And we are getting, we have the calls that we would get every day and the orders was just impossible. And then getting out of that, when things started to get back to normal, I know that other states are different than Connecticut, but Connecticut is a welfare state. And the people that you employ here are there's like, I grew up with, and my friends are still, and there are a lot of people like that, but people that are good people that work hard and they want to achieve and they don't want any handouts. Those people are invaluable to our society. I mean, there's people who are hurt and injured who need assistance, and that's what it should be there for. They're single mothers who might have lost their husband in a military thing or whatever, or a sickness or whatever, and they're struggling. That's what the help should be there. But it should be help, not a handout. And our state is a giant handout. So the people that we get for employees that would do general labor jobs, our state should be ashamed of itself. And I know I shouldn't say that, but man, the school systems, what they're putting out in these kids are horrible. And the tech schools, it's an embarrassment. It's when we're getting these people in the shop, it's horrible. Like some of the production body shops and stuff like that, they could get these people and train them on one specific thing. Take a fender off, take a fender off, take a fender off. The school should not be giving us people who just take a fender off. They should be giving you people who love what they do, are passionate about it, and want to learn more. They want to be a sponge and soak it up and do more. Our state doesn't have that. And I can tell you that from, I know I could list off probably 1,000 of my friends who have businesses throughout the state, whether it's electricians or carpenters or plumbers and everything. And it's such a battle to get people that have any skill set in this state. So that brings me to why we're always behind and always slow. And I couldn't say if we were anywhere else in the country, it'd be any different because you're still dealing with employees. But for us, this is personal. You're building something for you is a personal connection. And we can't just put any Joe Schmo on here that doesn't give a shit and that does half-ass work. We tried that. Man, it tried that and failed. Last year, 2 years ago, we started hiring people to come in because we were so busy all the time. And we're like, okay, we have this work. We have to get it done. Well, do you have to get it done if it's not right? And that's where I kind of got into place where, and I did this once before in business where we got really busy, hired the wrong staff, and then it became a problem. I said I'd never do that again. I wanted to hire one person, train them really well, go to the next person. But in this state, it's so hard because business is so expensive to run. And when you joke around, you say, okay, come up with $50,000 a month. So it's if that's your break even, that's not bad, right? So you have to make 50 grand a month. And when you start adding all your prices down just to keep the place, keep your doors open and stuff, it seems easy until it's not. And so when you have employees who can't meet that goal, whether it's 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month, 300 grand a month, I know a lot of my friends have huge businesses and they're going through major problems because one of my buddies told me, he's like, listen, he goes, I have to come up with like $900,000 a month to keep my business open. And he can't do it. And so the same thing we're going through is like exponential on his side. And he's like, so every month you're going into debt for 500 grand, 500 grand, 500 grand. Like, when do you change it and go around? On us, it's a lot smaller scale, but it's still the same principle. We need employees that are good to do what they do. Since we can't find them, we went right back to our grassroots. We canceled we held off a lot of jobs and have been just trying to get orders that were filled out the door for people. And our customer service sucked because of it. We're finally in a place now where we're ready to move forward, but we're moving forward on a way smaller scale. We're going to try to do them for our videos, just to get content out for you guys to see the different stuff and hopefully create some stuff. And I have mentioned in the past, I might make a few custom seats for ourselves that we just sell or donate or give away or something like that. So people can have our stuff, but it's kind of like we're in a weird place right now where I don't want to bring more people on and train them, because to learn what we do could easily take 10 years to be really good at it. And I'm getting older. I don't have a lot of 10 years times left, so I'd rather just do some cool stuff because that's what we're here to do. We love it. That's every day when I talk to Lewis, I'm just like, that's all we're here for. Let's build some cool shit and get it out the door. So with that said, that leads me to why we were so far behind. And a lot of our customers, 99.9% of our customers, are really patient, and I appreciate that. They let us finish this stuff up and ship it out, and we are right in the home stretch. I think as far as previous orders from the last year, I think we only have like 70 jobs left, right? Which seems like a lot, and it is a lot when it's only 3 guys. People can still send us our seats and we'll do them, but it's on a very limited thing right now. I hope this video wasn't too long and drawn out. I hope you got a little insight into what we do and why we're doing it, and appreciate you.